More Final Fantasy 12. Let's go. Let's turn in this boss kill and watch the cutscene. Until I give up on growing a beard. Hey, Ikubo, how's it going? Again. Like an annual thing for me. Actually, there's a different way for me to get back down there, isn't there? Oh, cool. I haven't done any, like, decorative stuff in a long time. I should probably get back into that. It's really good for my brain. I haven't done bead sprites in a really long time. Open the door. That's awesome, Yukipo. I'm happy to hear it. I'm still working with my therapist to figure out whether I need that or not. Historically, I've had the problem where, like, my anxiety, depression side effects are, like, manageable enough, or my coping mechanisms are effective enough that the side effects of medication aren't worth it. But it's a tough regime to be in. Anime gasping comes out pretty loud in the equalizer. I'm turning the game down a hair here. Yeah. Bad interactions.
You should try it on the Dawn Shard. See if it can destroy Nethicite or not.
What?
He just may be onto something. The Dawn Shard's no use to us, after all.
That's awesome, Spiky.
The stone bleeds mist.
I've been doing pretty well with melatonin
roused.
for that, but...
It fears the sword.
Friggin' ghost youths. You can't destroy it, you need that to get into this dungeon.
The stone is quiet.
This is the sword, the Nethicite destroyer.
Should it find its mark?
Vaughn! Tell me, did you see him again?
I didn't. Not a thing. Not even my brother. Not anything.
This is like the Oh Right Vaughn scene. The worst side effect for me, it was either Paxil or Prozac, but it, like, robbed me of my ability to focus, which I had never experienced before. It was, like, nightmarish. Like, I could sit down and play a video game for, like, I don't know, 8 hours and be completely fine, but I just got, like, super fidgety. Didn't like it at all. Yeah, Vaughn, you're still here, right? Notice they're pretty careful to make sure he's in most of the cutscenes, even if those cutscenes have, like, nothing to do with him. You know, more so than they would, like, try to include Quina in a random Final Fantasy IX cutscene, right? I should make a mod of Zodiac Age. It just replaces Vaughn with Quina. See how much it changes the feel of the plot. Vaughn's professional photo bomber. Probably just cast escape from the dungeon, right? Yeah. Show on for me. Let me refresh and flip them off and on. Thanks, Kiri. Oh, Grimoire Togale? Is that a... That sounds like that's maybe an equipable item. I wish there was like a sound effect or something when you got a cool drop like that. Maybe it is just a trash item. It is a trash item. It's a lot of bird creatures. Dragon Eaters, okay. Oh, I should issue a correction. Talking a bunch about Final Fantasy XI in Discord this past weekend, and 11 does not color enemy health bars if they're outside of your level range. I'm thinking of EverQuest and even some older MMOs than 11. 11, you had to manually target enemies and select check, and it would tell you if they were 1, 2, 3, 4, greater than 5 levels above you, which is awful. And I wish this game colored health bars, but you can't win them all, something. Wait, I think I got turned around here. I thought I could just exit the dungeon from here. Let me see. So having it work the way it does in this is probably just out of an effort to make it feel more like Final Fantasy XI. It's actually a little bit easier to see in this one because you don't actually have to select a check option. You just target them and it shows you the level in the corner. Oh, it's probably up this way. Yeah, let's go this way. There isn't an exit from here. Let me see really quick. I don't think it's a spell to exit the dungeon, right? There might not even be an exit item, is there? Because warp is a damage ability. Alright, well, I'll keep running around and try to find my way out of here. I thought it involved this room with the stairs. It's definitely not left. Well, let me check this one more time before we give up. I thought there was a way out from this way that I would go up and then around from the stairs. But I think this is just a dead end right now. Yeah, because I can't re-interact with this thing. Okay, well. she technically equip the Sword of Kings? Yes. And it says it's an upgrade. Been using her for unarmed attacks. That one monk note on the license board, but I still can't really tell if it's worth it. Let me try leaving out this way. If we go left and take this teleporter up here, maybe. Yeah, this looks promising. Let's see. Yeah, this is the room that I thought I was in earlier. They all kind of have this, like, U shape to them. Like in Gil? I assume if I can buy a weapon that's... gonna be better most of the time.
The Empire's debts grow legion.
There.
Smoke.
What could it mean?
That something's on fire? Where there's smoke, we gotta hurry. See, there may have been a teleport crystal in Barami Sace, if it lets me. Yeah. Hopefully there wasn't like a boss en route that I'm bypassing by teleporting there. Wait, I don't think this is right. This is the bottom of the mountain? Ah, here we go. That's not good. Let's go talk to the dude who's very insistent about communicating telepathically. Is Arcadia no fear of the gods? It's a good question.
Our vagrant princess. Swift has your lust for revenge led you to the Sword of Kings.
Oh shit!
You will surrender
Don't remember
it to
this
me.
at all.
Too late, and to their sorrow do those who misplace their trust in gods learn their fate.
There it is again.
Oh yeah, spooky plot ghost. Not a plot ghost in this. They're like stands or something?
Fran,
I don't remember
I
what
don't
their
like the
deal
look of
is.
This mist. He holds a stone.
Oh, it's like Final
controls
Fantasy
him as it
Tactics.
did Miern.
No, the power of manufactured nethicite is the power of man. A weapon forged by his wisdom who would challenge the gods themselves. A fitting blade for a true dynast king. Wraithwall did but pretend the title, a cur begging nethicite scraps from his master's table. Hark! Evilise hails her true
Plot ghosts
dynast
before plot
king,
ghosts were cool.
Reign Solidor. He shall defy the will of the gods and see the reins of history back in the hands of man. His time is nigh! The new Evilise holds no place for the name Dalmasca. The stain of Wraithwall's blood shall be washed clean from history's weave.
2 swords. Oh, is this potentially an intentionally unwinnable fight? Oh, never mind. Kill the rando judges, please. The attack rate on the sword is quite a bit worse than... Oh no, maybe it's the same. Is attack speed a thing for weapons in this? It's kind of hard to tell. This guy refuses to die. Kill Judge B, please. I mean, attack speed on different weapons. Are there some weapons that are faster or slower than others? Not so much for Kiraga. There it goes. Keep just missing the timing for that. Okay, here we go. Wait for Vaughn. The much more important and interesting character who I refuse to use in this game. Visions of the Dreamer. Phase 2.
He set his very bones about with manufactured nethicite. The Grand Kiltius?
Wait, what about Larsa?
The phrase
Spirited away by Judge Cabran.
manufactured nethicite.
You okay?
It's important that we know that it's not raw Nethersite.
As for our young lordling, he went along to avoid trouble, you see, but Judge Bergen had other ideas. He flew into a rage, and I was left to fend for myself.
I think unarmed would have a really high combo chance, and that would be the thing that
Please,
balances
Princess,
it to make
you
it
must permit me
interesting.
to take you back with me to Rosaria.
So that you can protect me?
I would lay down my life.
Wish that
at
stuff
a
was
single
reflected
word
in
to
the
be
numbers
sure,
given
but
to
I
the
harbor
player.
no wandering delusions of valiant grandeur. Vain has our word
Remember the
in
name
jumping at
manufactured
shadows.
Nethersite.
They favor a preemptive strike, but you will convince them otherwise. You will see that they do not start this war.
This I cannot do. Forgive me, but my errand here is not yet done. I must wield the Sword of Kings, and with it bring an end to the Dusk Shard.
This stone, do you even know what it is?
I can venture a guess. The Draclaw Laboratory in Arcades. The Empire's weapons research begins and ends there. How soon do we leave?
At once. As for matters in Rosaria,
Synthetic versus created by
bid
the
you luck.
gods. Created by man versus created
So
by
you would
gods.
leave each to fend for his own. Let us hope that you are not disappointed. That's right. Larsa left a message. The differences between our two lands will fade before the shared dream of men.
Thanks, Larsa?
My leave, I take.
How do you propose we reach Arcades? Arcadia's borders will be well guarded for fear of Rosarian invasion. We dare not approach by air.
And their navy will see that the coast is watched as well. No, we go afoot. We'll cross into Arcadia in the Salika Wood. We can reach the wood any number of ways, but the easiest is to head north from Nalbina.
There is a hunter's camp just beyond the Salika Wood. The camp sits within Arcadia's borders, so Imperial patrols there should be sparse.
Getting that far should be half the fun. Let's be sure we go prepared.
Little Indiana Jones map thing. Okay. As I play this, I'd have to wonder, like, if you made this into a tactical RPG, would you really even need to change the story at all? I don't think so. I guess you would lose the stuff with Fran. Possibly. Depending on if she was like an important unit or something and you needed to like get Vieira soldiers in your army. Hey, thanks Sukiyaki. How you been? Thanks for getting back to me with your tags. So this is where if I didn't have this, I would have to walk all the way back there, right? Did I ever actually go to Nalbina? Dang. It's via the Ester Sand, basically. Oh, is there like a boat that I wasn't able to take previously? There's any number of routes we could take, but not really. There's just the one. Oh, there could have been something I could take back. -4 and high waist. Not high waist like the pants. Waist is in... So I've been to Barheim Passage. Will this get me somewhere? Doesn't look like there's an exit up there. One of the routes is locked behind hunts. Really? I honestly don't see a path to get there if I can't take this from the Ester Sand. So I'm open to a tip if somebody has one. Buy this map already. You have to take an airship there. Airship shops might have new stock now anyway, right? Leisure craft is the way that I get shops. Private cabin is just kind of like teleporting, basically. Oh well. Oh my god, it's so weird that you just suddenly get trivial access to them after them being kind of a pain to get for a while. It's probably more than enough. I guess this is another issue that because there's only 3 items in the game that actually matter among vendor trash, wouldn't it be great to have a sell all non-teleport stone, non-Geisal greens, non-Great Serpent skin vendor trash button? It really makes me wonder if this is like a victim of iteration, that like the vendor trash system used to work differently at some point during development. But also it makes it extra odd that that stuff wasn't adjusted in the remaster. It doesn't seem like this game got very many mechanical adjustments at all, right? Like, I mean, obviously the big ones of let's change how the job system works, the license board system works, but the actual, like, controls and feel of the game and look of the menus and stuff, like the fact that, you know, you have to go into the hunt menu to see where a mark is on a map marker, but you can't see that map marker on the actual map as you're running around. Oh, I have to talk to the steward. Not the person standing in front of the door I want to sleep in. RNG minute for what? Graphics. No 3D model. Is it a bug that it's in the game? How do you get it? Guessing these shops don't have anything exciting, so I've been here before. Yeah, doesn't look like it. High waist. Invisible has a 1% chance to spawn. And if it spawns, has a 1% chance to drop the weapon. Jesus Christ, what the... This game... And I assume it breaks the game if you get it? Oh, it's new to Zodiac Age? What? Just let it wash over me, it's okay. Yeah, it sounds like a cheat code. How does RNG manipulation in this game work? Is it based on the game clock or step counter or something? Kind of a pretty area. See everyone's situation with licenses right now. I don't know if I can start unlocking stuff. Mateus has been added to the board. Okay, well... There's no reason for... Okay, maybe the answer that there's no reason for one character to have multiple espers, right? Better spread them out over multiple characters. I guess if I put one on Bosch, then he can heal himself after he's cast it. Or, let's see. Stuff I'm still excited about on the White Mage board. Wish I could like favorite tiles or highlight them, right? Be like, this makes this a tricky game to play week to week because I sometimes lose track of like, what the fuck was I working on this board? Oh, I know one thing I was gonna do. I was gonna give him put Drain on a Gambit. So let me do that right now before I forget. Probably actually want... Probably don't actively need this anymore, so I'll change that to the foe. Although having drain set might get me in trouble. We'll see, I guess. Testers unlock cross-class skills in different jobs, and each tester's board position is unique. So, by unlocking it on Bosch there, I got nothing, since it didn't connect to anybody on either board. Potentially a waste. It's fine. That's such a weird choice, design choice. It's hard for me to get too hung up on it, I think. So if I want to start doing magic potency type stuff. Decoy oil. Okay. Got a couple that I can't afford yet. Okay. So I'll pick up this other swiftness node. An Ember slot unlocking someone's HP plus 400. There was one of those for Bosch that I picked up last episode. It costs 30. Probably want those gambit slots at some point. I think I probably will do at least one license board respec at some point in this playthrough, even though it's going to suck to go back and like reallocate everything. Iku Ichimonji. Classic. Here's a new gun. Probably should have prepped for this, because now there's a whole bunch of upgrades that I don't have the license points to pick up. Fuzzy Miter grants petrification immunity. Probably want to have at least one of those. Nullifies weather and terrain effects and elemental damage. Hey. Vanishga. Is that like Vanish in Final Fantasy VI? Like, or like Utsusemi in Final Fantasy XI, they just ignore damage from non-AoE attacks? Hey Ronan, how you doing? You can just buy golden amulets here, like as many as you wanted, and then they limited the number in the Zodiac Gate? Okay. Oh, there's a bunch of other weapons there, but I guess I'm going to try to remind myself as I get more license points to focus on weapon and armor unlocks. My physical evade, does it not go away over time then? I mean, I'm sure it runs out eventually, but with Vanish, it was a set number of attacks that you would not get hit by. Curious how long it lasts. Wait, I thought that was time magic? No. Alright. I could see it being pretty busted. Rays of Ashen Light. Learned Man, huh? So able to get another one posted. Next week's RuneScape episode is going to be kind of a doozy. Thief's Cuffs. Probably can't equip them, but... yeah, okay. I guess if there's an enemy I'm coming up on that would be useful for, just tell me, because I think I don't have the walkthrough knowledge. I was gonna say the next RuneScape episode is going to be the first raid in the game, which Chaos Factor and I wanted to try it blind, to try to sight read it, and that's a bad idea. I think professional RuneScape streamers took weeks to solve the raid. It's not sight readable like Final Fantasy 14 is. Hey, thanks Eternus. How have you been? I mean good weapon or armor or magic steals that let me get them early compared to shops. The Final Fantasy 9 boss steals that are really good. Oh, when I'm berserked, I just can't control my character? I guess that makes sense. I thought I could at least move them. But if they saw an enemy, they would just go ham on them. Good timing on the anniversary, too, Eternus. It's more time for Inscription in case we don't beat it on Wednesday. Your character already doesn't care too much about attacks. Berserk's pretty good. Does it affect their attack speed or just how much damage they do with each swing? Oh, that's kind of cool. Vulture. Thank you very much. Oh, sure. So I'll start casting Drain on it, and that does stuff. Try to figure out how much damage Drain is doing. It's hard for me to tell. I wish I could zoom out slightly. $867, okay. Pretty good. And just burning through MP really fast, though. The most relevant content, possibly, I mean, there's a lot of cheats you can do to make content relevant, even if it's, like, awful to do, but... Regular mortalized. Oh, you're kind to say so. I don't think it's for everybody, but I like it a lot. I think some of the lessons that it has learned are applicable to other genres that don't necessarily need to be RuneScape-like games. I feel like there are a lot of online games and games as services that like could use the power of math and incentive structures to keep content from becoming deprecated. Like, it always made me extremely sad playing World of Warcraft and just not giving a shit about any of these zones or any of the world bosses or any of the dungeons. And they would do stuff like time walking, where they would like select a small subset of dungeons to bring up to the current math standard, which I think is probably a good strategy, that you just select some at a time so people aren't just selecting the fastest or quickest one. But it just always bums me out, the willingness that these game developers have to just like throw out vast swaths of content in their games. It's the worst when like the developer has the Bungie with Destiny, the like taking away the train tracks that are behind the train in order to lay tracks in front of the train development approach. Like, I think there's a finite number of interesting incentives that you can give players to engage with content in your game. Like, there's only so much mechanical design space, and there's only so much quality of life design space. I've been watching lots of Cracking the Cryptic, and the idea of like, if you have a cool idea for a Sudoku puzzle with a custom rule set, that idea might not work if there's not a legal Sudoku solution grid that exists that supports your puzzle idea. And that's true for just all game design, that you might have a cool idea for an incentive system for old content in an MMO, and it might not be possible if a legal Sudoku grid doesn't exist in nature, if there's not the mechanics in your system already for you to discover and apply to such an incentive system. Or like some games like RuneScape, bank space is really important, so you can maybe like make bank space a reward for engaging with old content or something. But then you pick a game like Final Fantasy XIV, but no one gives a shit about bank space, really. It's effectively infinite. So no one's going to get 50 clears of Copperbell Mine or something if it gives them an extra bank slot. Who gives a shit? Right? The roulette system in 14 forces them to make the same dungeon 50 times. Yeah, I think that the general effort by Square to make the dungeons in 14 roughly comparable in difficulty and time to complete, double-edged sword, like most things in game design. Like, I hate that there's certain MMOs where, you know, they have lots of fun, super variable dungeon design, and then everybody just runs the shortest, easiest one. So I think that that's also something that feels frustratingly solvable with math. That you can do metrics, you can figure out what dungeons are people favoring and what dungeons are people skipping, and then dynamically scale the rewards up for the ones that are unpopular until they, you know, kind of reach equilibrium. I gotta go find some Moogles, apparently. But I could just skip this and just go north. Okay. I think the idea is just that there's some like number of tomestones that Final Steps of Faith in Final Fantasy XIV could award me that would make me excited to roll it as my dungeon instead of dismayed. And I think you could iterate towards that number. Moogle Tombstone events, extra rewards for story critical and less popular dungeons. I guess I'm talking in comparison to RuneScape in terms of the inventory space and bank space in 14. Bloom H group spamming second coil because you could clear it in less than half a minute. Yeah. I guess that's true. At some point, it's an arms race. Oh, cool bomb boss. They're all hasted, which is probably bad. I might lose in this fight here. I'll oil everyone, which is also not cool. It's weak against water, not ice, right? Yeah, this boss is gonna kick my ass. Hopefully it didn't auto-save in the boss room. Oh, actually, I think I had a slightly later save. Is there one on this screen? See you, Turnus. Thanks again for resubbing. Have a good day. I don't think I fought anything after I hit the save point down there. Speed down. I might need to make a bunch of adjustments to my gambits to have this fight be possible. Or I might have to do some grinding in the area. Yeah. Let's see. Right out of the gate, out of the bat. They start hasted. They do. Can this boss be slowed at all? We're gonna get rid of oil like immediately, or we're gonna be in trouble. Don't really have the resources to do. I might have to do oil immunity on these guys. Yeah, Jesus. Can be slowed. I think it depends. There's a way to require you to do the same content repeatedly that's not necessarily the worst in the world. Oh god. How long has that been equipped? Kill me. Oh, okay, it's fine. Just don't think about it too much. If there is an accessory that confers immunity to oil, I haven't found it in a shop yet, have I? I guess I could try going in and using Mateus. See what happens. Probably still gonna get like insta-nuked. Or I could get, like, Insurrect. That works, too. This oil thing is a really big problem. If I can finish off the ads. Let's see, I got 2 ads down, so maybe this is possible still. Ads are down now, right? I think if I try to handkerchief away the oil, he's just gonna keep applying it over and over. Shit. I need to drop Fran's cure thing. At least change it to use a high potion. I have one of those on Ash too, don't I? Probably have to do that after I lose in this fight. Cannot get there quickly enough. King Bomb's no longer hasted, so that's nice. Said silence, oil, disease, immobilize, sap, slow. Silence, maybe? Although it looks like its physical attacks are super nasty. Am I underleveled for this? Did not land. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go grind. I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat this thing. My current setup, anyway. So if I immobilize it, maybe I could, like, run away from it. Immobilize plus silence. Attacks do not want to land. You silenced it before it could get its cast off. Okay, everybody chill for a minute. For the love of God. Let's try to slow it while it's far away there. Hey, maybe this is going to be possible. Second, sorry. Then rescue some Moogles. Whoa, don't flee. Oh my god, this happened to me last time. I need to understand what causes that. I think it's whenever I try to get my mouse cursor unlocked from the game. I don't know why it happens. Slow, mobilize, and silence still. How big of a pain in the ass is it for me to catch up my party members, Walter? Are the regular boss fights balanced, assuming that I'm hot swapping the other ones in? Assumed it was like every other Final Fantasy, except maybe 10. Still has all those effects on it. Probably can't use any of those attacks. Aster's current and max HP, which isn't going to be very much. I could try casting Bleed, but I don't think I've ever seen it land on a boss. Oh, looks like it worked. Bleed's technically sap, I guess? Get away! Is it gonna be hard for me to have multiple of them be away? I think not. I have to grind anyway. I have to grind these 3 up, right? So it'd slow things down. If I could fit them in as like a guest party member, I could do that. Slow it. It's kind of cool that this strategy is working, cheesy though it is. I'm getting to use some status effects that I would never use in a Final Fantasy normally. I wish I had just a straight, like, DPS spell with Ash. When I cast haste on a character that's already hasted, am I just re-upping it, basically? Yeah. Does he get to do that multiple times? Cast Renew? It's extremely annoying. Not finish immobilizing him again? No. The only game I've played where I felt really rewarded for focusing on more than a set of the basic party members is Final Fantasy X. And to some extent Final Fantasy VI, because 6 requires you to do those dungeons where you have to split up your party and use multiple groups. So I still have like an A team that was the one that was best geared and I was happiest with. But I at least felt like it was worth leveling up the ensemble cast in that one. So far this game hasn't signposted to me that I should really give a shit about anybody other than 3 characters. At least the time investment to even just go in and do their license boards, let alone catch them up to the party average level, would not be worth the payoff for these boss fights. Maybe if I was doing the, like, bleeding edge S-rank endgame hunts, like, Yesmat or whatever. But it's hard to tell. Sometimes I'll walk into the room with a core story boss in this game and it'll die in like a blink and I won't get to see any of its mechanics. And sometimes it'll actually be somewhat tricky like this one. So, who knows. XCOM was great. Probably my favorite tactical RPG I've played on stream. I think the things that are interesting about it start to break as your characters get too powerful towards the end game, but the early to mid game is really, really nice. Really hope it doesn't cast Renew again. Armor Cross had the Forbes item in XP or relevant, then decided everyone should have 40 equipment slots. Armor Cross is one of those games where it has this ridiculous ensemble cast that just doesn't matter at all. It could matter with the element system, I like the idea in Chrono Cross that you only really get level ups from boss fights, so grinding isn't a thing. It says you can just do 3 in this one and it'll be fine. Okay. It's worth investigating. There's stuff in Final Fantasy X that mechanically conveys to me that the developers expect me to level multiple party members, right? Like the early tutorial stuff where it's like, hey, this enemy you need to have Waka to hit it because it's flying. This enemy you need to have Lulu to do magic to it. So I'm like, okay, I'll level everybody up. Or FF6 where it's like, okay, this dungeon requires 3 parties, so I can't just leave some characters behind. And also, I guess the story consistently switching perspectives to force me to use them to get the level ups before they put me in a position where I actually have to choose between them. Which I think it's only once the game goes off the rails and you're kind of more open world that you start getting dungeons that are multi-party. Dude! What is... Okay, can someone tell me what the deal is with this guy and, Renew? He was almost dead there. I wonder if I can just ignore... Just drop their cards, that's cool. Ready just means that they're doing that attack at that moment. Just getting his low health bonus here, I think. Stay out of melee range or we're gonna have a bad time here. Uses Renew twice and then enrages under 25% HP, which is what we're seeing here. Okay, thank you. First try. Have you managed to kill it quickly enough? Yeah. I wish that stuff was more clearly conveyed, because we've run into some enemies that can do stuff like that indefinitely. So it's effectively a DPS check.
First try.
I think I would enjoy this game a lot more if it had some method of, like, conveying enemy intents. Like, they have this Libra ability that's... Who cares about Libra on random world trash? But random world trash are the only enemies in the game that are vulnerable to being scanned. The enemies that it would actually be interesting to know what status effects they're weak against and what their deal is are immune to it. So, like... I think it kind of adds to the walkthrough bait qualities of this one. Makes me wonder if Final Fantasy 13 is going to be so walkthrough baity, or if that's just a Square Enix phase that they went through around the time of the merger. I don't think the readies is what it's about to do. I think that's like... It's just telling you that's the name of the ability it used, and they chose to localize it as readies instead of uses. Like, I don't think you have any time window to interrupt it with a spell or something. Like I said, I think this game is in the same category as Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy VIII for me. That the core mechanic is actually really interesting and could really work, but it's kind of one of the downsides of Final Fantasy's decision to do a new system in every game. That I would love to see them iterate on FF2's action-based XP system, FF8's draw system, or this game's like single-player MMO thing. Because maybe it would be really good on a second, third, fourth, or fifth attempt. It's a bummer that the, like, maybe this isn't true for Final Fantasy XIII trilogy, but all of the, like, sequel entries also do the let's reinvent the wheel thing, right? Like, I think Final Fantasy IV After Years has a completely different progression system from FF4. 10-2 is completely different from 10. It's tough because I think in general, like, having a new system in every Final Fantasy is a major strength of the series, but it also means they'll occasionally land on an idea like this one that just doesn't work on the first try. Necro Hall of Nabudis. What a cool way to spell hall.
This is all that remains of Nabudis.
Disease stops renew. That's cool.
2 years ago, it was destroyed utterly.
Be a cool
by a mysterious
corner case
force.
usage of the weird status effect.
The work of the Midlight Shard.
This? In just 2 years? How?
As the Dawn Shard brought down the Leviathan and her fleet, a fell mist spilled forth.
Is this like an
It is
optional
like
super dungeon
the
or
same
something?
thing happened here. The Nethicite's mist has corrupted the life of this place. It is a necrohall overrun with beasts. We tread here on a fool's errand. We had best turn back.
That's like a you need to explore this right now indicator to teenage Marstead.
Is it revenge that you desire? Yes or no? Not this way lies the capital. The road to Arcades leads east of Celica Wood, beyond the Fawn Coast and Seats
What's the benefit for
Outlands.
exploring this dungeon? So it looked like I'm a little behind on levels, so I could do it. Probably should find an item shop. How am I doing on Phoenix Downs? Wait, was the bomb an optional boss? The Zodiac Spear used to be in here. I thought this was the critical path to get to this Leakowood. I love this Malboro model with the crown and kingly mustache. Nah, I needed to kill it to get up through here, I think. Oh, really? I can just avoid it? If I had gone northeast instead of northwest, I guess. Spent a lot of this Final Fantasy XII playthrough whinging, but I've really enjoyed all of the hard boss fights because every single one of them has required me to do some really weird shit to win that wasn't just, you know, do the same thing you do in every other battle. I've had to fuck with my gambits or cast weird stuff like Immobilize plus Silence, and I wish more games would make me do that. Unfortunately, they've all been dependent on me, like, literally asking chat to look up the wiki and tell me what stuff they're weak against. Like, it doesn't seem like it's very sight-readable. Done the summons. Well, this room is harder than earlier areas. Probably set them with gambits to just use ally status KO, Phoenix down. I have a couple of them and a couple summons. I'm kind of underwhelmed by the summons because the character you summon with has to stay alive, which, depending on what you're fighting, is a pretty tall order if they're by themselves, without like doing the persona thing of just spamming Cura on yourself over and over. Quickenings are just a big limit break burst of damage, right? That you can automate with gambits. I don't presume that I understand one. I presume that a quickening is a micro. Use this, burn the bar, do a bunch of damage. I think the interesting thing about the fights in this game is trying to come up with a system that solves the fight as opposed to a button that solves the fight. But I can try next time. Why are these guys so much higher level? This is the path forward, right? Raised Deadlands, maybe not. I remember this in a bad way. So is it like pressing QTE button? Oh, that does not seem worth the time or effort at all. Maybe because I didn't do the mini game correctly or whatever, but just gonna die again, alright? Yeah. All three people have one. Do you have to like cue them all to happen at the same time for them to be good? You know? I think I have to grind. I think this next area is just a huge difficulty spike, and I don't think I can avoid the enemies there, and that is the area that I have to go through to progress, right? The Nebraeus Deadlands. So it's through the Silica Wood. Or am I supposed to go southeast instead? Maybe that's what the problem is. Let's try going southeast. So, if I'm understanding you right, each individual quickening that you unlock is bad by itself, right? But if every party member has all 3 of their quickenings on the board unlock, it goes from being never use this because it's not worth the time or effort for the animation to the best damage in the game. Adamant hat. See, as a person who's attracted to being able to sight read games, I find that very frustrating. There's this really expensive node on the board that is one of the only things that warns you that you can screw yourself by taking the wrong one without respecking, right? And then each time you try it, it sucks until suddenly it doesn't suck at all and it's actually super amazing. Like, they're really strong in the mid-game. I worry that these cool boss fights that I've had where I've had to do interesting programming challenges of, like, locking down the boss, and if I'm just going to go in there and do a missed combo and one-shot them, right? Make me sad. Right. Okay, well, I'll try to get them on the license board. I think this game is structurally not great for a sight-reading player, because, like, the fact that those are optional nodes on the edges of the already strangely constructed license board, right, makes it really hard to tell what you should be taking. Like, it's almost strange to me that espers and limit breaks are even on the license board in the first place, right? Let's see, where are we? Okay. Let me go ahead and pay my taxes here. Already have 3 on Bosch. Does it really matter which missed abilities I take? I'm just taking the ones that are already closest to me on the board because I don't want to think about it. Everyone is competing for the same set of quickening nodes, and one can only be activated by one party member. Okay, so I have to do the Moogle quest to progress. Gotcha. Yeah, I think putting good shit behind the mist abilities would be smart. I think the license board in general being less freeform and having more like paths where you had to get weapons 3 in order to unlock weapons 4 and so on. I have a feeling the only reason it isn't that way is to make it look less like the sphere grid. The sphere grid has a lot of problems. It's a lot of attention and maintenance for a lot of trivial leveling, but it does a good job of like tipping you off to branches in the path and making you think naturally about whether you want to wait to get a key for a lock sphere or whatever. Here, like, the license board, it doesn't even have very much mathematical information about what's going on, so when it says, you know, increases physical attack damage from battle lore, like, I feel tempted to, like, look up a wiki description of what all the license nodes do. Because, like, if I was only interested in ability nodes, the exciting stuff on the sphere grid, I would still activate everything between where I am right now and the ability node that I'm getting to. And if that kept me, you know, on curve for the fights in the game, so be it. I don't need to necessarily know what +4 strength does to my damage. But here, like, this board is just... It just looks like it's laid out arbitrarily. Like, the shape of this doesn't tell me, oh, I should get this magic lore. Like, I don't know. I don't even know which one I should get first. Maybe the original game was clearer about that. Oceans. Yeah, Serp, you said earlier, interesting to approach this as a programming challenge rather than a JRPG. I think that's what's interesting to me about this game's system, the gambits. I would love someone to make a puzzle game that's, like, solve a bunch of puzzles using these gambits. Press go on the simulation and see if your party solves it. I feel like you could do some cool stuff with gating the gambit conditions if you made it into a standalone puzzle game about gambits. I think that the way gating is handled in this is kind of terrible. There's just a shop that sells 1,000 gambits available immediately. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of an inherent contradiction in all of these games. We were talking about do all this side quest content. We're going to heavily encourage you to do all this side quest content, but don't worry, if you do it, it will make all of the main quest content trivial and uninteresting. Thanks, Moogles. What's a sash do? Immune to slow. Yeah, if I could will the Gambit puzzle game into existence, there probably wouldn't be experience points. Characters wouldn't level up in that way. You might be able to equip things or have some like opportunity costs that can make this character stronger at magic at the expense of having lower health.
Come by airship, one of those patrols would no doubt have been quick to roll out the red carpet. We're on the Empire's doorstep now, so we shouldn't have to worry quite so much. But that's no excuse to get sloppy. It is still a long road to the capital.
Oh, I've heard this track before. Like, I think a lot of my problems with the bosses not conveying their weaknesses and stuff could be solved if you unlocked gambits, like, immediately before the relevant boss. Like, if the next boss is going to throw oil on everybody, maybe you get the ally status equals oil gambit condition from doing a side quest in the area right before the boss. And you reinforce that enough so that players expect that, oh, if I got a gambit condition, that means it's going to be relevant soon. Each battle lore is a passive +1 strength. What that means varies from weapon to weapon. Interesting. Bowline sash. Which is not an accessory. Need a most recent item. I need an icon next to an item when I loot it that says what like category it's in, because they already have those icons in shops and stuff. Holds and unarmed have strength times strength in the damage formula. I see. Area's pretty. Like drain is a really big penalty after you cast it. There's going to be another golden amulet, whichever the one that doubles my license points is. If I'm going to have access to one at any point, please let me know. I'd like to just throw that on everybody. Maces are mag times mag. Does strength as a stat only matter for weapon attacks? Does it ever get calculated into like abilities? There's a lot I would do to recalibrate the look of the license board if I was president of video games. I would make it way more linear, or I would make it so that there's like links between certain nodes that you have to get this node before you can get this node. I would probably color things that are unlocking access to something where you need to have that thing for the thing to matter. And I would color things that are like a permanent passive character boost. I'd probably color the nodes that are related in some way, like all the magic lores would probably look similar on the board. Like, they have these icons, but you don't see the icons until you're adjacent to them. And I guess it's a blessing that you can even preview the ones that aren't adjacent to your existing nodes, right? Because in the original game, those were just triple question mark until you got there. It's very odd. It feels like the cost in license points is also not very helpful for determining the relative usefulness of an upgrade on that board, right? Especially when you're talking about getting multiple of the same upgrade, like multiple copies of Swiftness or multiple copies of Battle Lore. Actually, that would be another thing I would prefer, like, if it was like a Schrodinger quality to these nodes, that no matter which magic lore node you unlock, the first one always costs 30. No matter which gambit slot you unlock, the first one always costs 10, right? Instead of it being, oh, this specific one costs 20. This specific one costs 30. Most abilities involve doing weapon damage calculation. Okay. So, if you're using an ability that has a weapon that cares about strength, and strength only, then magic lore is completely irrelevant to any abilities for that character. Which maybe makes multi-classing a physical class and a magic class kind of like folly. It doesn't seem as trivial to misbuild your character in this game as it was in the Final Fantasy X Expert Sphere Grid, but it definitely seems like there's a lot of just bad choices that seem interesting. Oh, what if Bosch is a combo white mage samurai? That seems kind of cool. Nah, it doesn't. Although that fantasy also failed in Final Fantasy XI. Like, the difference between a meta sub-job, because you could equip a job and a sub-job, and the sub-job would, be usable at half the level of your main job. So you had all these cool ideas, like, oh, I'm going to be a samurai white mage. No, you're not. You're not. That's cute, but no. And it wasn't just that there was a meta, because obviously there would be, but there was stuff that was just completely unusable.
Why the capital?
The Nethicite. I must destroy it.
Are you sure? You don't want it for yourself? Use its power to restore Dalmasca? Something like that? The best intentions invite the worst kind of trouble.
Lusting for ever greater power. Blinded by the Nethicite. Is that how you see me?
That does sound like someone I know. He was obsessed with Nethicite. It was all he cared about.
Come over here.
He'd babble nonsense, blind to aught but the stone's power.
Like I said,
He'd talk about some Enna, or was it Vena? No matter.
Thank you.
Everything he did to get closer to the Nethicite, to understand it. He made airships, weapons.
Really, Walter?
He even made me a judge.
You were a judge?
Judge?
It's kind of exciting.
Part of a past I'd rather forget. It didn't last long. I ran. I left the judges.
Balthier doesn't seem like a heavy armor kind of guy. Quiet on set, Von and Pinello.
Bonanza. Draclaw Laboratories' very own Dr. Sid. That's when he lost his heart to Nethicite. Lost himself. And I suppose that's when I lost my father.
Nah, I don't remember this at all. You think this would have stuck with me?
Don't follow in his footsteps. I ran away. I couldn't stand seeing him like that, slave to the stone.
Was that obvious?
So I ran. Free at last. Funny I went for the Dusk Shard. How could I have known that it was Nethersite? And then, of course, I met you. All that running, and I got nowhere. It's time to end this. Cut my ties to the past.
I'm excited for a character moment. We haven't had one of these since Fran and the
It's hard to leave
the
the
Fran
past
wood.
behind. I know.
The Bunnywood. Irut Village. Graphics.
Marriage of convenience. Symbol of the alliance between Nebradia and Delmasca.
It's not what I would think that guy would sound like.
They do they?
These roles we play. I must admit, I find it wearying.
I will play mine.
I would have no other.
The choice is yours to make. But don't give your heart to a stone. You're too strong for that, princess.
I pray you're right, Balthier.
Yeah, 12 is, to your point, Serp, that you could still beat the game with a little bit of grinding if you make a bunch of dumb choices. That's more true in 12 than it was in 10 with 10's Expert Sphere Grid, where you could actually like brick a character and be behind by hours until you caught them back up to where they were supposed to be. So that's nice at least, but... I feel like this game just has a lot of ideas that are actively undercutting each other. You bricked Kamari in your original vanilla 10 playthrough? Yeah. Right. I think if anything, it gives me more appreciation for games where they have multiple systems and the systems are complementary to each other. It's a lot of chests. Yeah, to that point, I don't think I've ever had a run where Kamari was good. He's always just been like a slightly weaker version of whichever character's sphere grid I sent him down. Is this one of the chests you're not allowed to open for the Zodiac Spear in the original game? Because if I was trying to be an asshole, this is where I would put one. Mari doesn't fit into that paradigm, yeah. Mari could have been more interesting, I think, if his blue magic mechanic was not a limit break. Or even if it was part of the sphere grid. I think they were trying to avoid having it be a thing that only Kamari could do because they wanted to have the, like, FF7, all of these characters are copies of each other. They just start in different parts of the sphere grid. Other than Yuna, I guess, having summon. Get return spheres. Yeah. I feel like it was a mistake that they made you spend levels on backtracking. I don't think it added very much. I mean, they gave you the discount for doing it, but... I think I like the sphere grid, other than the, like, quality of life, usability issues that it presents, which I think you could fix pretty easily, or soften pretty easily by, like, letting the player project out a path that they want to take some number of steps ahead and automatically move down them whenever you get sphere levels. But I really like the idea of, okay, if you play this game really, really hard, eventually all your characters are going to be carbon copies of each other, and everyone will have every ability. But for the first, like, third of the game, everyone's going to have a class identity. And you'll have some interesting ability to multi-class here and there. Because at the end of the day, I probably still prefer the, like, FF4, FF6, FF9. Every character has a class identity, and they don't inherit class identities from others. I gotta try that. I posted, Tomato did a hack of this really popular ROM hack for FF6 in Japan. Tomato did a translation for it into English. And it sounds like it's a really cool ROM hack. Like, it's still, you still play through Final Fantasy VI, you play through the whole story, but it changes a lot of the math and adds a bunch of new encounters and references to other Final Fantasies in the form of optional in-game bosses and stuff. How does it look, Spiky? I only read his article about it from Twitter. I think this is the way we want to go, is it? Let me look up here. Maybe it is, actually. So I'm going to pick up these missed licenses. Pay my taxes here. So that's somewhat far away. Is that the same one? It's down here? Why is this one more expensive? She have one somewhere on one of these two boards? Yeah, it said it has, like, some of the best tracks from every other Final Fantasy and a whole bunch of other, like, popular Japanese games that get mixed into the story in clever, creative ways. I might play it on stream. I try to avoid doing hacks and stuff, but I like Final Fantasy VI a lot, and it would be fun to be kind of blind to it for once. I mentioned it, my brain got on that sidetrack because as much as I like that all the characters in 6 have a class identity, I hate the Magicite system and the stat leveling system. The idea of everyone getting access to spells in the endgame is kind of cool. But they got rid of the stat leveling thing in this Japanese hack. So this might be a good place to farm curls, but then I get these snakes gonna break my combo here. So like this bell wyvern, I would be like, okay, that's probably a notorious monster or something interesting. Maybe I should be careful to see how much damage it does. No, it's about as strong as these snakes, it looks like. Nothing special. Running out of Phoenix Downs, aren't I? Yeah. Next time we get an orange save point now that I can trivially teleport. Real quick. I haven't been stealing. Oops. I was wondering why my passive income seemed to be down. I guess if I do that FF6 thing, I need to figure out what percentage of the content is like crazy, ridiculous, endgame bleeding edge stuff. So if I know fan hacks, I could see it being like a whole bunch of Final Fantasy X Monster Arena type stuff. Go fight Gilgamesh, but you'd better have every character to 99 for it to be an interesting fight, right? And I'm not super interested in that stuff. Teenage me would have been, or at least non-streaming me would be. On Coast Hunter, aren't you? Oh, it's like 5 different Mandragoras. This is not an official bill and will not be listed in the clan primer. What? Islands, Fields of Eternity. It's pretty funny. Go kill the tomatoes. The hunt begins. Triple question mark. Are there other secret hunts in the game like that that don't get tracked at all in the clan primer? Quality-eyed. Just like the randomly. I don't think have I run into a non-hunt NM yet, just through normal play. might have some insane spawn conditions. Are those spawn conditions like utter walkthrough bait, or are there like NPCs in towns that will tell you about them? Bosch's current setup for healing is not great. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. I don't know why I feel so uninspired. Yeah, fast forward doesn't need a Zodiac Age. I don't know why I feel so uninspired to talk to anyone in towns in this game. Like, I don't always talk to randos in towns and RPGs. I used to talk to everybody all the time because who knew what they would give you. If they would have like quests or items or something. But the way this game is structured in particular kind of tells me don't bother. Like, but then occasionally someone in town will say or give me something super important out of nowhere. No, I've played games on stream before where I feel inspired to talk to townspeople, right? Like, I'll talk to everybody in Undertale, because the game structured itself in such a way that that seems useful early on. Yeah. With M, you can cheese as Vaughn at the start to get to level 30-40, which means your whole party starts at that level? Wow. That's close to where I am right now after 22 hours of play. That's funny. Kill 255 enemies in one sub-zone of a specific dungeon without leaving. Incredible. I guess since Bleed inflicts a status effects, I probably don't want that to be my flying gambit for her. I guess I still really don't have anything that's good, unfortunately. I'll just turn that off, I guess. This game really likes to formally enshrine a lot of weird player behavior like that, doesn't it? I've already talked a lot about the chain system, and it's like, why would you want that to be what players are doing in your game? It would make so much more sense if it was the chain only continues if you kill a different enemy every time, but I guess maybe the zones aren't dense enough with different kinds of enemies that that's even possible. Go through a specific zone transition with only one party member. So unless if you're specifically looking for it, it will never appear. Oh, wow. How do you cheese it? Is there just some, like, ability you can get early on that can kill it? Ah, you can Phoenix down it. Okay, that's cool. Come on. There you go. If you leave the zone before its death animation finishes, you get credit for the XP without the game setting the "Yeah, you killed the NM" flag. That's amazing. Is that still in Zodiac Age as well? At least it gave me a save point. I think that's where I'm supposed to go to progress. So they were going to repeat a sound in the soundtrack for a new zone. It's a good choice. This one's very Final Fantasy Tactics-y. I'll ask if I get stuck, but if you want to talk about stuff I haven't seen in the game yet, if you type !hide in chat, chat will be able to see it, and I will not be able to see it. So you can ask about whether it's kosher to share that kind of stuff. I mean, I do like the soundtrack a lot. This composer's pretty great. Thank you for asking. Is there a way to artificially get your health that low early in the game? I guess you can just like have Vaughn and Pinello whack each other in the face. Does this game have a natural HP region? This game is probably still has less walkthrough bait on the whole than Final Fantasy X-2, but wonder why that went so much in vogue. I feel like FF9 and 10 are both pretty sight readable on the whole. There's a couple little things that you'd benefit from a walkthrough, the whole play online fiasco, but yeah, I was going to mention Excalibur 2, right? You don't know about that unless if you have a guide. But it's also something that's not intended for a normal player to uncover anyway. Wasn't it that weird, like, there's like a weird cutscene that somebody only found in Final Fantasy IX like 15 years after the game came out or something ridiculous? Where like you have to keep leaving the final dungeon to go talk to these NPCs. I guess maybe they were going for, like, if not baiting walkthroughs, like, a player community exploring the game and finding all the NMs and like talking about it together. I'm like, oh, you gotta go here to find this, but I imagine the number of players who had that experience and didn't have one member of the community who just owned the Brady Games Guide or went to Game FAQs or whatever. There's very few people that actually had that experience. Oh, I fought this crazy turtle thing. Oh man, what were the circumstances? Oh, it was raining. Maybe it was rain that spawned it. And someone's like, I'm just gonna look it up. Yeah, it looks like it's rain. It's kind of interesting to think about games that can only exist in their purest form temporarily like that, like some of the ultimate fights in Final Fantasy XIV, where the only people who really got to experience those fights as they were intended by the developer were the world first raiders. The whole, like, was it Ultimate Ultima that trolled the world first raiders by requiring them to intentionally fail mechanics? So they basically had to learn the whole raid, and then they had to relearn the whole raid when they understood that the mechanics that they were dodging perfectly, they needed to intentionally not dodge in a certain pattern. And no one will ever have that experience again, because now that's in the wiki text for that fight, so if someone wants to go fight it, they'll just go do it the right way the first time. I guess World of Warcraft has like little optional pet mount ARGs every expansion that are like that, where there's like a Discord community working together to find them, and that takes months and is super interesting, but then once it gets found, everybody else just follows a guide. Yeah, right. The idea for that Ultima fight, I think, was cool in the sense that it was the kind of thing that was only profitable to do in an MMO to devote that amount of development effort for a very small group of the 0.001% of World First Raiders, right? Because of the existence of streaming, that the full Final Fantasy XIV community could enjoy this, like, trollish trick that the developers played because they were able to watch the Raiders do it on Twitch. And so it still was a net value to the team, even though most people aren't going to experience that mechanic again. I like that part. Don't want to follow a guide. You will now have the option of saving your game. Thanks.
Hey, you sure this rabbit hole's really the way into Arcades?
Better a hare unseen than a rat in a trap. And again, if you'd prefer to go knocking on the front gates of the city, be my guest.
But what about once we're inside? Won't the city watch find us?
We'll do what we can to blend
That's awesome,
into the
Yakubo.
crowd. Our names may be notorious, but our faces are not far known.
True, true. You're a princess and we didn't even recognize you.
I noticed.
Oh boy, Vaughn. Zombie Nights. This is where I still haven't found a shop. I need to restock on Phoenix Downs. I would just start dumping them on these guys. Is it only a chance that a Phoenix Down will insta-kill them? I still think that, like, ultimate raids are less than 1% of the overall player base that meaningfully attempts them. Even if more normal raiders are doing it. That's been true in MMOs for a long time, though, that the bleeding edge endgame content isn't really realistically encountered by even a plurality of the player base. But it's interesting that the advent of streaming can make it, you know, profitable because you can get hyped for the game. Most of the difficulties having 15 seconds of practice mechanic that doesn't appear until 15 minutes into the fight. Yeah. We were having this discussion forever ago in Discord. Polar Brewski was arguing that most players do mythic rating, and I was like, there's no, in World of Warcraft. And I was like, there's no way, like, you know, you're looking at achievement stats for games on Steam, even like games that are self-selecting for players that want to play a hard game like Dark Souls, like, it tends to be that you have like an 80-20 rule going on, that very few players make it past the first boss, right? Maybe that's changing over time, or maybe it depends on who you're counting as a unique player. You can do some achievement-based statistics on the Final Fantasy XIV player base, right? Because you can like use whether or not they've unlocked the most recent main story quest step as a filter for are they still playing the game, and then you can use other like raid clear statistics from there to make cuts. JP servers have higher Savage clear rates. It's kind of cool. Maybe that's what it is, that it's a higher percentage than you'd expect of players who are in the end game. But that if you looked at the total number of people who have ever played the game, many of them haven't really left Lenosha. That's what my guess would be, Ronan. But it sounds like the data suggests it's higher than that. Players who have cleared current Savage fights against all max level players. Okay. I wonder if it's just that WoW has like progressively selected for players that want to do that, and other people just don't play WoW anymore. Like how you definitely see that with FromSoft games. Like, it seems like people just didn't buy Sekiro unless if they knew what they were getting into, right? If you look at the achievement stats. Oh my god. 4.5 to 23%? That's insanely high. I would not have guessed that. It's a bunch of Mandragoras. Okay, cool. Alright, well, let's find out if I just killed him for free first. Need to turn off her gravity gambit. It's cool, they all seem to have different elemental weaknesses. And that's not also doing a cut on people who are at the end of the post Shadowbringers launch MSQ. I could maybe buy that. Sleep immunity. Prince's Kiss. What is this last guy weak against? The Onion Queen? Physical, maybe? Yeah. I tried Savage Raiding in Stormblood, and just the stress of playing with randos wasn't worth it for me. I kind of did the calculus of, like, I could keep doing this, but... if I had a static, I would do it no problem, probably. Just like the process of sitting in Party Finder trying to find a group. Getting the first couple polls where somebody doesn't rage quit. It's the social tax was too high for me. Oh, that's cool. It might be... well, they still have the same Mandragora model in 14. More games should just do that. Like, we don't need to redesign bombs again. We know what bombs look like. Go ahead and retexture them sometimes, but... Rejuvenation Trap. Manafont Trap. Wow. Hastega Moat. Ugh. Killing the game. Thing you really want, but consumable. Guess the quickening spots are usually kind of obvious. Yeah. Oh, there's a swiftness I haven't picked up. I'll grab that real quick. He still needs one, right? This one? Oh, shit. Okay. I'll come back to it. Yeah, I totally agree, Ronan. It's funny, Spiky. So Fran needs one, which she's close to having. Just need to finish Fran. Okay. Longa corpse. And a save point. Still haven't seen a shop or an orange save crystal in a while. I was gonna try to get gear nodes, but I've been having to pay this quickening tax. I think online games can tell us a lot about human behavior in general. Great little space to remove a lot of the complexity of real-world interactions that can make it difficult to do a study, right? Desiccated corpse. Venture bound for the capital. Do one on shared versus unshared resource nodes in MMOs. How that impacts player toxicity. Oh, I'm probably getting screwed by casting Drain, aren't I? Temporarily change Bosch's thing. Oh, undead, right? .5% of max level players on Prime will have beaten TEA in the most recent Ultimate Fight. That's a really high number. I'm really surprised by that. Yeah, clear selling is a problem in RuneScape as well. RuneScape's most difficult content, the Inferno, probably has a less than 1% clear rate, even accounting for people who buy capes. And then the most difficult thing to do in the game of getting all Grandmaster achievements is probably fewer than 100 players in the game have even done that. Oh, where is Astega? I would very much like to have it. Where is Gandalf? I would very much like to speak with him. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, there must be some systematic that's biasing the data, because it could just be that my intuition is wrong, but maybe you're not able to query players that don't have an active subscription that are max level. I would buy 1.5% of players who are max level and have the achievement for completing the most recent main story quest from a patch, It still seems a little high, but... I guess, like, Steam achievement rates are almost always in line with what my expectations would be for them, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm playing a Souls game or whatever, and there's an achievement for getting one of every item, then the percentage of players who did that is like, yeah, that seems about reasonable based on how much of a pain in the ass that was. It's rare that I'll see an achievement percentage completion and be surprised at how high it is. Chest has a 100% chance to spawn, but it's in a massive zone that for arbitrary reasons disables your map. And it's a puzzle maze zone. Okay, let me know when I'm there. That's the only way to get this Haystega? It's pretty cruel. Ten different bad upgrade paths, yeah. I did plat Dark Souls 1. Part of that is just farming those fucking the dancing mage enemy that drops a trident like 1 in 100. I think that's the last thing just about everybody does to plat Dark Souls 1. Definitely not very climactic. I guess the reason those MMO statistics are surprising to me, it's not that I have some like uncanny insight into the behavior of gamers or anything, but I play a lot of games and I look at those achievement statistics a lot in video games. And they all seem to be, I guess, on Steam as an ecosystem, they all seem to more or less agree with each other. You can kind of guess what kind of achievement would only have, 1% of players completed versus 5% versus 10%. And the numbers for like Mythic Raid and Savage Raid clearing in WoW and Final Fantasy XIV don't jive with that. Probably because it's in a different ecosystem, so maybe there are other cuts happening that we're not seeing. Like I said, inactive subscribers not being included or whatever. All of your rare Steam achievements are in Path of Exile because 50% of people don't kill priests. Yeah, I guess you gotta consider that's the one thing that corrupts Steam achievement data is the game free to play. And as a result, did a bunch of elementary school kids whose parents got them a Steam account download it just to have something to play. To start it up at least once. Ahriman is not an eyeball, but a spooky ghost. It's maybe more like what it should be. Let's see how cheesy quickening is here. What's the whole shuffle mechanic? So it's not clear to me what I should be doing with this. Is this like Zell's limit break in Final Fantasy VIII? I don't know why some of them are grayed out and some of them aren't. Like right now it doesn't show any. Yeah, so like there I picked one for Fran and then it shuffled it and I had to pick another one for Fran for some reason. I have to admit I kind of hate this. The really, really long cutscene. Time's up. Wow, the amount of damage that did for the amount of time it took was completely not worth it, but maybe I just like did a really bad job of understanding how the hell it was supposed to work. Oh, there's two of them. Character is 60 plus to show changes in their level, XP value, or minion or mount counts since the last 3 census prior. And then a subset of those are counted at max level, merely being a level 60, nothing based on MSQ progression. Get as many mischarge resets as possible during the process. So it's like a slot machine that I'm trying to re-roll as much as possible, basically. About to die to Doom. It's like Crisis Core. Oh, that's crazy, Spiky. And oh, I'm out of Phoenix Downs. That's the problem. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Bad time in the fight for that to happen. Turns out being out of Phoenix Downs completely breaks my gambits. And high potions. It looks like while I was confused, I wasted an X potion, which I did not realize they would do, that they would use items. pretty scary stuff. What is this boss weak against? And can I cast rays on it to kill it? A little late to try that, I guess. Immune, no. Okay. Shit. Probably just gonna have to attempt this again, knowing that I'm out of resources. Oh, now that she's dead, we're game over, aren't we? And I can't summon anything because I already used all that. Well, I'm dead. Okay, so where is the nearest shop to me? Because I need a shop, I think, to continue to exist. Let me try... I'm worried that I have to go really far back. I keep progressing forward, hoping I'm just going to run into one soon, but... Nine Phoenix Downs. Back before we go to this fight here. Yeah, these guys are really hard before, weren't they? Look up Ahriman weaknesses here in a second. FF12, Ahriman. Ahriman. While I'm reading this, let me run in circles really quick. Stats, status effects. It's immune to it's not immune to slow. It's the only status effect that it's not immune to. Golly. Alright, well. Try to keep it slowed then, I guess. And I guess I'll save my quickening combo until the end of the fight. Did she get her last one now? Maybe. Okay. Once it goes all enraged ham on me, Yeah, bosses in this game all... You can program beating them, but then when they get to the last 25% of their life, they get really, really strong. Like right now. Do I have to prompt them all to do it at the same time for it to work?
I must believe.
Okay, so I want to shuffle until I see something that says mischarge, and that restarts the clock, basically. You're supposed to end the boss fights with quickenings, maybe. Which again only makes sense if you have them all unlocked with your whole party and know about the mischarge cheese, I guess. Is it just going to be one of the 3 buttons is going to say mischarge instead of the name of an ability, basically? I haven't seen one this fight yet, right? I think I passed one a second ago. There's one. Wait, I saw it, but then after you press mischarge, you then have to press an ability after that. Wow, that was awful. Almost did no damage, it felt like. Pause from the screen. Using an ability adds time to the clock, but it gets shorter as your combo goes on. Part of the problem is I accepted this ability, but then her bar wasn't high enough once the fight started for it to matter. An extremely odd mechanic. So whenever I see mischarge, just double tap that button or start spamming that button. That's so... okay. What? Is this the most bizarre limit break system in the Final Fantasy? Is an interesting question. I guess 6 isn't bizarre, but you almost never see the desperation attacks because of the weird requirements for them. Try to recover their MP really quick here. I guess FF6 desperation attacks, the game is clearly not balanced around them. It's a neat thing you might see once ever in a playthrough. versus this game where it seems like the game is balanced around you using this extremely strange system. Like, I like the FF10 limit breaks. Those all kind of have their own mini games, and it explains how they work and kind of encourages you to use them. To me, it feels like the way this game works is like if getting the really OP mix combos in Final Fantasy X wasn't just speedrunner tech, but was like mandatory to beat the game. Oh, Fran still didn't get a full bar before we came in here. What charges the bar? Time in combat, basically? Damage dealt and taken, maybe? Turn off Fran's steel thing again. I'll probably forget to turn it back on later. Camera only goes down when inputs available. Is there anything stopping you from just mashing all the buttons? I mean, obviously you want mischarge if you're able to get it, right? I feel like the boss got way harder that time without being at the health threshold. Oh, it must have just hit the health threshold. I wish that was, like, demarcated on the bar in some way. Oh, this is already lost cause. They don't necessarily need to be at full at the start of it. Okay. Are there any bosses that don't enrage at 25% health? It seems like the answer is no. Slow my fast forward down when it looks like I'm about to get to 30% health. Or I'll just put some tape on my monitor around the 25% health mark on the bar. I think if there was like an angry face there or like a little cutscene that played when they enraged, that'd be cool. I'm gonna disable poison. I don't really care. I don't think it's the source of that much damage. Probably better casting Cura. I think more system transparency would go a really long way towards making me enjoy this game more. Since it does seem like the bosses are kind of like puzzles to solve that are only a solvable puzzle if you look at the wiki and see what it's weak against and what its deal is. I guess you could sit there and like brute force keep try casting status effect spells on them until one of them lands, but that doesn't seem terribly interactive. I'm going to angle the camera so I can see if my status effect is landing or not. There we go, finally. Alright. Try to keep that up. That might be enough to save me at the end of the fight. So this boss is technically undead, right? But it can't be insta-killed. It looks like it's about to go crazy, so maybe now's the time to do this. It's like someone took Zell's limit break from Final Fantasy VIII and was like, let's do this, but even more extreme and for every party member. What is it? So basically I should only shuffle if I have no valid options. I got some damage numbers each time one of these animations played that would help me a little bit to internalize whether this is effective or not. Because it looks like I'm just like blowing up the enemy, like Supernova in Final Fantasy VII. So all the animations are super over the top. So since I know that they all have no mischarge now, I know that only Bosch is going to become available unless if one of the other two gets a mischarge because they're depleted. So I can be mashing X if I know he still has charge remaining. This limit break system it seems to completely undermine the like core Gambit combat to me. Such a weirdly different minigame.
I must be strong.
Watch it not even die from all this. Yeah, because the animation's so long, it's not included in the fast forward, which it can't be because of the timed mechanic. Great. Yeah, to be clear, I don't hate this game or anything. I know I've been whinging about it a lot, but it's very weird. It is the weirdest game that's not 10-2. Because 10-2 is like a broken, horrible nightmare mess. This game isn't a broken nightmare mess. It's full of very odd decisions in the context of the rest of the series. And Zodiac Age seems to take some of the things that were already weird and rather than like make them smoother, make them weirder, like the job boards. Cool fever dream nest, there you go. Some of its ideas are really good, like really like the Gambit system. Wind Burst. This is supposed to be like the magic burst at the end of a skill chain in Final Fantasy XI. Maybe that's what it was. It's like, oh, we're gonna do like a skill chain in Final Fantasy XI. Given the amount of damage other things do, that did not feel super worth it to me. Jesus. Know if the boss still counts as slowed here. It's not. Okay. Are like only some of the ads real here? Assume that's true. None of them have actually been slowed. Slow keeps missing. Now we're gonna die, yeah. Certainly. The highest max HP, we'll pick the real one. Okay. She's about to die. Let's see. He blocks. So I feel like I did about as good a job as I was gonna do on the missed attack there, and it wasn't anywhere near close enough. So I don't know. Do I need to grind to beat this thing, do we think? There's some other status effects that I can maybe take advantage of. I had a feeling that the status effect clock for slow was running during the mist thing, because slow was gone by the time that was over. Not that much time in combat had passed. Can I dismiss the clones by casting, like, AoE spells on them? I'm not clear what causes them to disappear. Or if I should just focus down the main boss or what. Not too much more I could do from the minigame to just take him from enraged to dead instantly, probably. Try to lock these changes in next time. Like, I got unlucky and they didn't roll. Does a tier 3 do more damage than 3 tier 1s in a row? Regen the boss. Oh, really? That's cool. Thank you. Give that a try. I kind of get frequently when bosses enrage, I get trapped in like a everyone's trying to stay alive loop where I'm no longer DPSing and barely staying alive. So I guess regen could potentially help with that. I'm actually doing a small amount of damage during it. Fuck, burn my Phoenix down again. This is where max HP is getting me in trouble. Thanks, Darkstar. How have you been? Okay, so if I understand Mist as being an attempt by Final Fantasy XII to mimic the skill chain plus magic burst in Final Fantasy XI in a single player game, then it makes a little bit more sense. It's still kind of bizarre. Let's change this to lowest until we get into the boss room. Maybe I can kill all the enemies on this path, leave, and then they won't respawn. We'll see. Shops here would help a lot. Hoping there's a shop like right after this boss. Skill chains were a thing in Final Fantasy XI where every class in the game had different weapon skills, and the different weapon skills had different elements tied to them. And if you did skill chains in a certain order, like if you used a light elemental weapon skill followed by a dark elemental weapon skill, that would trigger a skill chain which would do extra damage to the enemy and create a short window where your black mages in the party could cast spells of the same element to do a magic burst and do a bunch of damage. It's actually pretty cool from like a MMO perspective because it kind of encouraged you to... Let me run away from these things real quick. To have teamwork. You got every variety of magic burst. Is that an achievement? Do I even have regen? Is regen a time magic ability? Or a green magic ability? Regen's white magic. Oh, I just haven't bought it yet. Is there a shop that I have access to that has it? There's not a lot I can do here to make this better as far as I can tell. There's no real HP things I can pick up, right? I get the ones I can afford here. Might make a difference. Let me make sure I leave the room and come back in after I do all this to make sure I get this saved. You have HP nodes. Region is buyable only in the one zone that changes when it rains and only when it rains. Someone give me the pillow to scream into. I can't even leave this zone to go check it out. I should pick up Drain for her, actually, because she needs to have a source of magic damage that she can just use. I guess it doesn't help her with undead, but... Alright, maybe the small increases to max health that I just picked up will ultimately make a difference. I need to zone really quick to make sure that it saves my license board selections there. Okay, let's top off here. And change gambits to highest max HP. And I'm still not feeling super great about this, but we'll give it a try. Guess I can pick up some battle lores on him real quick. Yeah, I wish it was whichever node you picked first. Like if there were 10 battle lore nodes on the board, I wish whichever one you picked first always cost 10, and the next one cost 20, and the next one cost 30, and so on. Instead of you having to find them in the order that they appeared on the board, right? He's not doing a lot of whacking, but I don't know, maybe that'll make a difference. Is quickening based on their stats at all? Magic lore increases melee damage for the... Is that just a katana thing, basically? Specifically strength. Drop this. I don't think it makes a big difference if I remove it or not. Face change yet, but maybe it's just when he splits, depending on the timing of the split, I get my ass kicked. I'm getting out of this one, to be honest. Damage is equal to a random number between 1 and the number of the quickening multiplied by a random number between 1 and the character's strength. Wow. So I could do the exact same battle and have the exact same total combo hit for quickenings and do twice as much damage one time versus the second time. feel like this boss is incredibly swingy for some reason. Maybe it's that when I set them to do highest health that they're not, like, killing the ads. Oh god, Marty is under my monitor and he is not a graceful kitty, so he might... everything might fall down here. Okay, Marty. Glad you decided that was a bad decision. Let's try leaving them on lowest. I'm curious if they'll just kill the ads then? Maybe I'll take less damage overall because of that? Overall, it should be lower variability. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Instead of using Cura, let's do Curaga. It's cheaper and it should do more single target, I think. They're slow. Where do I have that in his gambit order? Pretty towards the bottom. Okay. Should be enraging soon, I think. Wait, shit's going way better this time. I didn't change very much. Maybe just hitting Curaga on the ads was causing me problems? I think if this animation was like a quarter as long, I'd like this better. Maybe after you've seen each one once in the combo that was a quarter as long. Okay. Is the element also a multiplier or something? Like if we did a holy burst, would that then double whatever that damage is or something? I got a level 3 that time. I think I would like this. I would like this mist system better if there was no weird Final Fantasy VIII Zell limit break combo timer. I don't like that part. And if it was just each of the things you could select had an element to it, and the goal was to, like, use a specific element combination, right, and to get a magic burst that was good for the boss you were fighting. Like, that would be closer to the way it worked in Final Fantasy XI, which I think is what they're trying to mimic. I don't know what caused them to do this weird Zell combo timer reroll mischarge thing. It's just like a very weird choice. Including even when it says like arrow burst at the end. It's so strange. It just comes down to luck whether I pull the level 3 ones sometimes, right?
I must be strong.
It's also weird to have a game that's basically turn-based in the way the rest of the mechanics work, and then suddenly you have this thing at the end that I know I missed a mischarge there. It's very not turn-based. It's holy, which we're saying doesn't matter. It's just an aesthetic difference. That time it was enough. I also triggered it when the boss was lower. First try. Ultimate bursts for each of every tier. I think the main thing that changed anything there was me using Curaga instead of Cura.
You're killing us.
But I don't know why that made such a significant difference, because I figured Curaga would have been hitting his little ads. Maybe you get punished for hitting the ads in that fight? I don't know. I also had it so they were targeting the lowest health thing, so maybe they were like instantly destroying the mimic ghosts or whatever. So can I do a close to full strength mist quickening combo if everyone only has a single bar going into a boss fight? If I get lucky on mischarges? I think if they made quickening work exactly the same as weapon skills in 11, that would be really cool, actually. It would be a reason to move away from your gambits for a second. Like if you had to not use them simultaneously, but you had like a short 1 to 2 second window after each one delivered to cast the next one. So like select Bosch, do light elemental weapon skill or quickening. Select Fran, do cold elemental. Select Ash, do fire elemental. I'm dead. Maybe not. Focus down anyone with Doom. Okay. So that makes Doom slightly more interesting. Well, clearly they were trying to mimic 11, with there being a magic burst at the end. The burst could be a cute little animation that plays, and then you'll have like a 10-second window after the burst for everyone to cast a relevant elemental spell, so that mages get to weigh in on it too, and it's not just the quickening. The only way to fix Doom, is that because of Zodiac Age? Was there a way to get rid of it otherwise? I don't even think I have that many remedies. Can I buy them in shops yet? It's kind of wild that there are so many remedy nodes on the license board. Surprising to me. This is much happier cave music. Oops. Okay, yeah, that's definitely when I was confused why my characters would suddenly get locked into fleeing. I have a command I have to press to get my mouse out from being locked in this window, and it looks like one of those buttons locks me to fleeing. Alright, finally found orange crystal. I'm gonna quickly pop out of here and buy some items. Guess it could probably just go anywhere. Esther Sand is where I can turn in the serpent skin. Who do I talk to for that? I just want to turn in the serpent skin. I don't want to do the Esper quest yet. I have a feeling those are still going to kick my ass. I can only buy them after defeating the last judge boss. Any particular item shop that does it? Oh, they all get it. Okay. Nimbus sell all junk button. Monkey's paw. You have it, but it will also sell all your teleport stones, Geisal greens, and serpent skin. Burnish protectives. I'm not going to take back the praise I gave for the crafting system in this game because I still really like the premise. But it does feel like it's really not returning items to you, unless if you're maybe going crazy in every zone and like XP chain farming all the mobs to get all of their rare drops. Maybe then it gives you really good stuff over time. There's a quest here, the woman outside the tent you just passed. Yeah, I tried to not die too badly. It did kill me a little, though. Something could be overriding the quest. Because the ferry is inactive. Alright, let me get back to trying to get equipment unlocks here. You take everything that says remedy lore. So he can just naturally get Defender and save the Queen because he's intended to be a knight, I guess. Can you literally not get Remedy Lore 2 and 3? I think he can't. Okay. You know, say what you will about Final Fantasy XII, but it is a video game, that's for sure. I just want to get a bunch of these so I don't have to think about it when I go to shops, because right now I'm having to do way too much thinking about it. Thought I saw Aldebaran somewhere. Alright, well I restocked on Phoenix Downs and high potions and shit. It's time to move along for now, I guess. Somebody outside the outpost? Okay. Well, I'll use that as my place that I teleport to buy Phoenix Downs, so I'll come back there and do it next time.
Smells less like a capital, more like a sewer.
Even empires have need of sewers. The runoff from Arcades proper pools here, those who lack papers to live in the city itself. The mighty who have fallen, and the fallen who would be mighty. Their eyes never leave Arcades.
I guess it must be a lot nicer than this place.
Oh, to be sure. Arcades reeks of a different filth. Let's be off. We can follow our noses to Draclo.
Old Arcades. An item shop here all along, wasn't there? Yep, that's fine. Three gil. Flavor chest. This is the only video game I've ever played where opening a chest gives me the opposite of a dopamine hit. It robs joy from me. Maybe that's what this game is. Maybe it's an iteration sickness problem that, like, we didn't see what forms this game went through during development. And maybe a bunch of the features that we're seeing are like 3 or 4 iterations in on an idea that made more sense a while ago, but the final product is so different from what it started as, right? Knot of Rust. What would that be? Totally not New York City. At least it wasn't a pointy hat, God. Is Dragon Quest worse? Where everything is lootable and 98% of loot is authored garbage, not procedural garbage. But then every now and then you'll open a chest and it'll have a weapon that's twice as good as your current weapon, so you better open everything just in case. I guess that felt less true in Dragon Quest VIII, where you had this crafting system that made pointy hats relevant, maybe, but 7 was particularly bad with it. Octopath has bad chests too. Are they procedural in that game? Yeah, I still want to play Octopath at some points. Oh god, did I have to lie for an event flag there? Some of the design choices are a thing. Street ear. He'd bite a gill given him by his own mother and shave it by half to pay for her funeral. They're not allowed to have anything interesting because the game doesn't know what order you're coming to them in. Right. Oof. Non-linearity in RPGs is a cancer. Not really, but I feel like the downsides of non-linearity in RPGs is almost always extremely high. Unless if it's the FF6 approach where the game is highly linear until the end suddenly opens up and you can do a bunch of things. I guess Chrono Trigger does that too. I'm Bosch von Ronsenberg. There's nowhere else to... No other zones to go to, right? Chests in Dragon Quest 11 exist to make the crafting system something to engage with. Alright, I'm trying, dude. Does it sound like I have to talk to some specific townsperson? Pray that I'm not required to talk to any of them more than once, right? Yes, I do still want to go to the city. Thank you for the commentary. Bag of coins thrown in a barrel. God. Don't tell me there's like one barrel that I can mash the X button on to get an item out of. Okay, I think I talked to literally everyone. It's part of town. Heard about a man who picked a bag of coins out of a barrel. Hotel Beasley. It's a helpful wiki explanation of what a knot of rust is. So near here, right? Well, it's also in Tactics Advanced 2. Knot of rust is rust. Vermin, naysayer, disparaging woman, Beasley. Yes. Is that it? Oh no. This little side quest is, well, a main quest, actually. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. Where'd he go? Another one of those things where it's like, this is different from anything the game has had me do up to this point. Garlic knot. Doy. Thanks, Jules. Oh, really? What's the walkthrough bait use? Is there like a boss that it nukes or something?
You're gaping like a fish out of water.
I'm just checking out the city. Even if it is the Empire.
Vaughn is here.
You've changed, Vaughn.
Have you forgotten about
You were
Vaughn?
always marching to your own beat. Almost like you were impatient, even. In a good way.
Maybe it's because I've seen more now. Never imagined I'd ever come this far away from home. Hey, Lars is here in the city, isn't he? He's a tough one. I wonder how he's doing.
You
What?
always wear a soft touch, Vaughn.
That's insane.
You know what's amazing? I always thought I'd go my whole life without meeting people like the Princess or Lord Larsa. And here we are in the capital.
I know. It's a little over my head sometimes.
Good, Vaughn. You've come to understand the difficulties
It's the
of serving
weirdest
royalty.
application of dark
Hey, I'm
matter
just
in any
along for the
Final
ride.
Fantasy.
That wasn't a complaint, was it, Bosch?
Right. Let's get moving.
Hey, don't change the subject.
Right.
It's almost like the cast had chemistry with each other for a second there. They had to code total damage done by knots of rust for that. That has to be part of the save file, yeah. HP times 1d10 divided by 10. So it does a maximum of your current health in damage. It doesn't seem super great. There's a way to go back to Rabanastre now once you get here by walking. Such a weird choice. I guess I could straight up buy X potions now, huh? And it doesn't say it's a full heal, just a big heal. We'll do want to max those out. Oh, and high ethers. Oh wait, no, that was the sell page. Never mind. I have some for an emergency for now. You equip an item that makes almost all random chests contain none of rust. Collect a bunch. Bubble everyone. Camp it, throw rust at everything for a while. Find a boss and do 60k of free damage at a critical juncture. Oh, I can hear that, Toon Bob. Now, it doesn't remember how many knots of rust. It doesn't apply to every future dark matter. It's just on the next dark matter you use. Oh, jeez. Does this game have a damage limit? Probably have to grind for money next episode. Kind of a problem at the moment. Teberon was one that I was thinking about getting the license for. Bowl too, which looks like it's better than her sword. There's no reason to hold on to old weapons, right? If I found something that's clearly better. Zodiac, remove the damage limit. Okay. What sort of sap on hit instead of drain on hit? Interesting. Wish I had like an item I could use on characters to give them a small infusion of license points, like how sometimes you can use souls for that in Dark Souls. 6 license points. Do need a lot of these. I don't have enough money to afford much of it. You're doing the damage cap on every hit. It's 5,000 hits. Yeah, especially after Final Fantasy X already had the ability to break the damage limit, right? Sandalwood? If you can't move sandalwood, you don't deserve to be in the wrestling business. There'll be a mage shop here that I'm going to need to get stuff for too, huh? Oh yeah. Alright, so cash farming is in my near future for sure. This isn't as many spells as I was expecting, but I am gonna need to farm for them. Another chop master. If I needed to farm for money at this point, given that I have access to teleportation, is there a particular map that I should go to? Is it still going to be the curls from earlier? Just getting a really high combo with them and then selling all of them. Oh my goodness. Some people's cats, man, I'll tell you. At least Marty's not crawling under my monitor stands, which is what he was doing a little bit earlier. Like, so Marty has cerebellar hyplasia, which is the balance part of his brain didn't form all the way, so he walks like a drunk kitty. And Google cats with cerebellar hyplasia, it's pretty funny. But he is not a balanced kitty, so him crawling around underneath the monitors is like, oh my god. This is all going to collapse, isn't it? Only those with 3 or more chops may ride this cab. A chop? What? Sure. Any upstanding citizen carries a chop. Okay. Is another talk to randos to get chops type things. Oh, bummer. See if there's anyone here that has a quest that's gonna give me a chop. It's the city has side quests. Side quests that are structured bizarrely and somewhat differently from everything else in the game up to this point. Wages halved. What? I don't think I can process this right now. We got like 2 minutes left in the stream. I'm gonna head over to this save point. Future Marstead, you've got spells to buy in the shop. You've got a lot of armor to buy. You probably need like 50,000 gil or more to get all the stuff that you need. So maybe do some research before stream on places to farm for gil. To progress, you have to do a bunch of bizarre side quests. You talk to random NPCs in the area with the weapon shop. You memorize whatever task they give you, and it looks like you have to go somewhere else to do the task once you've memorized it. That gets you chops. When you have 3 chops, you can take the zone transfer that's marked there. You might have to trade pine chops for sandalwood chops, because, you know, anybody who's anybody can move sandalwood. Oh, farming that NM can get a decent amount of gil? Okay. Maybe we'll do that next time. But maybe pop out of here, find the orange crystal, and teleport somewhere to go somewhere to farm for some money. So you're definitely behind the curve on equipment at the moment. And you could use more license points for equipment too, so try to focus on that now that you have all the quickenings. Thanks, folks. I'll let you know what's coming up here. I'm going to try to sign off if my cat doesn't turn my computer off. He's going nuts right now.